Welcome to EIPIP meeting number 70. I have shared agenda in chat. We have few items for discussion suggested by Sam and Victor. So I have included only open items because by the time we have this meeting, a few of them are already closed. So starting from the first item, which is about update EIP 3475. I'm sharing the link here in the chat for reference. It was suggested by Sam. So Sam, if you would quickly like to give 1 minute intro or overview for this, and then we can start discussing the issue.
Sure, it's similar to changing a final EIP. And I just wanted to check if anybody has any opinions about it.
This looks like
I need
an
to look at
EIP.
it.
Yeah, this looks like an EIP which was merged recently. It's not been old, but yeah.
Yeah, they're mostly just changing the comments that, like the examples. Yeah.
I think I overspoke over Lightline. Matt, can you please repeat?
I was just saying I haven't reviewed this PR, so I'm just taking a look at it right now. I generally don't want to change final EIPs, so I don't know. It feels like they should have had the comments that they wanted in there when they moved it to final.
Yeah.
I think if this meeting is about general policy, then maybe what would be even more helpful is that we lay out the principles of when do we agree on that is okay to modify or not. And then I think the individual ones, if they can later be applied with those principles that editors agree with. Is that a good understanding of the purpose of this meeting?
Yeah, it's process improvements and similar things. So my general policy is don't edit final EIPs. Yeah.
So I was mentioning this in the last meeting, like sometimes when proposals are not getting enough reviews, probably on the review comment or the comment in general on discussion to thread, and it keeps moving to one status to another status, chances of moving them into final are like high, they move faster, but we may miss some obvious points. I wonder if we should recommend, like editors should recommend any ballpark time period for consideration for these kind of proposals, so we do not have to edit final EIPs, but we make all the edits before that.
I think I'm on my client side with this. I don't think adding a time period is the right approach. I like it'll just slow it down, and still no one is going to look at it. That's kind of why I started that peer review kind of process that I'm trying out. So we'll see if that helps catch some issues.
That's a good point. I think I have added peer review thing in today's discussion, so we can probably get more thoughts over there. But just for information for people listening to this call, generally speaking, recommendation for changes in the final status proposals, we have added feedbacks from editors from earlier meeting, and according to this, a final EIP may accept non-normative changes. However, it is again best to avoid any changes to final proposal. So if there are more than like smaller changes, it was recommended earlier to come up with a new proposal altogether than just trying to edit these proposals. But obviously, given this proposal. This is relatively new, and we can obviously collect feedback from more editors. Yeah.
And we can also just leave it. Like I don't really think we need to have a decision on it. It's not hurting anybody if the PR is open.
Sounds good. All right, moving on to the next one is EIP tax level topic. I suppose this was suggested by Victor. I'm sorry. I'm sharing the link here in the chat. So yeah, Victor, if you would like to give 1 minute intro, and then it can be easier for people to discuss.
Let me check. I don't think I suggested this topic. But yeah, I
I'm sorry.
generally,
Yeah.
maybe it's pent up heat.
Right.
But I can understand the interest of adding tag. But yeah, maybe we'll leave it to pent up heat to explain a bit more. I've not seen this proposal yet.
Looks like this has been added to issue number 6037. This is a proposal. So yeah, if people can give their feedback, thoughts on the issue, we can take it from there. If there is any comment for today, yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave a comment on the issue.
All right. That will lead us to the peer review discussion. On Canada's Discord, there was this discussion for peer review, like should proposal get more reviews. There was also proposal of junior reviewer, probably domain specific reviewer, and copy editor kind of thing. So yeah, Sam, you mentioned that you're already working in that direction. So if you can share
Sort
your,
of.
yeah.
So I think adding another level of editors is not useful unless we have some kind of a queue system. Like if we just have people who are copy editing and whatever, but we don't have a way to like flag an EIP as ready for like senior editor review, then I don't think it's actually going to help, and it's not going to make anything easier. So I think if we wanted to do like multiple levels of editors and then like EIPs get promoted, that I might be okay with, but just adding junior editors I think is is not really going to help that much. People can already comment on PRs and provide feedback if they want to. But I have tried to organize kind of a peer review list. So there's a HackMD that I've given to the editors of people who have volunteered to read and comment on the technical side of EIPs. This was in response to Greg's comment that we don't have enough peer reviewers, or we don't get enough peer reviews. So it's broken down into a few categories like NFTs and execution clients, stuff like that. And yeah, if you like merge a PR from draft or merge a draft PR. Nope, that's wrong too. Merge an EIP that is in draft, tag somebody from that list, and so far it's been working reasonably well. I've gotten 2 people to reply with peer review feedback, and yeah, people seem genuinely pretty excited to work on it. So yeah, just a new resource for editors. So feel free to go and start using it.
What's the avenue for like sharing this information? Is it on like Discord or Telegram
like
or
reviewers?
GitHub? No, I mean like what is your process right now for like connecting the reviewers with things?
Like I said, there's a HackMD, so I just grab somebody from a relevant topic, make a comment on the discussion thread with their ETH Magicians username, and then they usually reply.
Okay. Yeah.
It's very informal. There's no real process for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool.
Do you have the list?
I have it on Discord somewhere. I need
Perfect.
find it.
Yeah, I'll maybe make something more formal at some point, but for now, I think we can deal with this.
Yeah, I really like the idea of having peer reviews. Peer reviews provides better sense of contributions, and also like I kind of want to also advocate some um, sentiments in the author group that if you author, it's actually your responsibility to research and consult and like ask for peer reviews. Like that's what I'm trying to do with some of my new EIPs, and then so we can over time in the process like look at ERCs, see who they nominate, um, and then so it's a peer nominated peer review list that we can grow, and yeah, and I agree with the like clients about maybe we could think about where we can publish that list so people get more visibility of hey, there's a thing called peer review and you can contribute here if you have domain expertise. We value that type of thing.
Yeah, I'll work on the message I'm posting a little bit. Like there's already a call for authors to also sign up for the list, but I'll refine it a little bit more. And yeah, because I think getting more people to participate is important, and getting authors to nominate people is also probably fairly useful. So yeah.
I think in that we can borrow hands of Poisha and Ethereum cat heritage a lot. Right? They have very good experience in like soliciting help.
Very true.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Victor. And thanks, Sam, for this initiative. I mean, this is definitely a good idea. The issue of not getting enough reviews or maybe not getting enough constructive feedback was always mentioned by EAP authors, especially for new authors who are trying to do it for the first time. So it seems very valuable for them to get it more reviews. And I guess if we have this list readily available, we will start sharing it with new authors. That if you would like to tag any of the available reviewers, that would be nice. You can get more reviews there. Okay. I see a comment over here. My Moody, if you would like to mention that, I guess it's generally a suggestion. Yeah, but please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just like one thing we would like to do at Uniswap is just start contributing more to like EIPs that are related to like smart contract interfaces.
We would love that.
But like I think as a company we don't like have like a good feed of like what's going in that's relevant to us. And there's a lot of EIPs and some of them or most of them probably aren't relevant to us. So like it'd be nice to have so today for like GitHub PRs, for example, we have Slack channels, and then we have a GitHub application that we can subscribe to like certain repos, commits, pull requests, etc. Like it'd be really cool to have something similar for EIPs where we could just like type a command to subscribe to EIPs and just get like the abstract dropped into the channel. Like the GitHub bot drops in like pull request summaries into the Slack channel, and so it's like pretty easy to know what you need to click. So just like if there's something like that that other companies can also use, I feel like that would help a lot with just getting more participation. But I'm not sure exactly how it's best built. It seems like a GitHub action would have to be created on the EIP repo.
That posts to Discord or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be unfortunate if it had to be like per like org. So maybe there should be like EIP editor maintained Slack application or something like that, so that people can just come and register their Slack application and then subscribe to EIPs.
So could we ping you for EIPs that we think might be relevant to you, or would you want something automated? Like there aren't that many EIPs. I think we get like what, maybe 15 a month or something like that, or is it more than that?
Yeah, I think around there,
Yeah, so
10 to 20.
I think we can manually ping you. It's just we need to know who to ping, what username to use, and what topics they'd be interested in.
Yeah, I mean that works for just Uniswap, but I'm imagining like if like OpenSea and other developers also want to get well, like if you want to get participation from many different applications
True,
on
true,
these
yeah.
specs, it's just helpful to have like a tool where we can like set it up. And then also, I'm not necessarily going to be the one who reads it. It could be like anyone who's interested in that particular topic, um, like at the Uniswap team. So it's really nice to have just a Slack channel where you can see the abstracts and choose which ones you click.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll see what we can set up. I'll do a little bit of research there.
So I have a question here. This information that yeah, could be useful for application team. At what level this information you are looking for? Because there could be numerous amount of things going out. So if there is any specific requirement, maybe at any specific status.
I think like merged. I guess it'd be nice to be able to configure it, but like probably right away, just like merged EIPs that are in draft. Like and being able to choose like a category, um, and then like a subcategory um, for the subscription. And then I think the most important thing to just have in the message that goes to the Slack channel would be like the abstract. Um, but yeah, like the more customizable, the better, because then we can have multiple channels with like different people in the channels. Everyone can sort of customize what they want to see.
Right. I can think of something like this, like maybe we can create a GitHub channel that could be automated by a bot in which they can probably add ERC specific commits or merge when it happens could be added over there. But customization, we may want to look further into it. And just FYI, as like Kent was mentioning, we do have an RSS feed available on EIPSEthereum.org. I'm sharing the link right here. That is for last call only. So in case that is helpful, at least for the time being, any ERC proposal getting into last call, that means that is there for another 14 days. Team can probably add their feedbacks, thoughts.
Yeah, I think we could build something on top of it, or I guess we could. There's probably like an RSS like Slack bot already that exists. Yeah, maybe we can
Yeah,
start
I
with
think
that.
that, yeah, if that exists, I think that would be the best way to go forward. I think we can expose different things. Like if we want to have an RSS feed just for application stuff, we could do that. And yeah, I think that would be better just so that it's like pretty, um,
Agnostic.
yeah, agnostic. And it's just like, here's a place to consume this information.
Yeah, if you could just break it out by category and subcategory, that'd be really cool. Actually, it might be possible. I guess this is built by Jekyll. Maybe you could have it by status too, so it's not just last call.
Right. Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Cool. This is a good
And
idea.
it looks like there's ways of adding RSS feeds to Slack. So I think this is like a very good way of moving forward with this.
Perfect.
So, is there like I guess like an action item would be like having those different side channels, and we can, and then on our side we can like subscribe to the one that exists.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do for getting the RSS feeds to be more verbose or have more content in them. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, this is a very good discussion here. Probably we should look into getting more RSS feed depending upon category and status. Right now we have it only for the last call. Thank you, Lightline, for sharing the article. I hope that would be helpful for people who are interested into looking into building up this one. All right, moving on to item number 2. This is from discussion continued for earlier meetings. There were 2 items suggested by Victor, but it looks like the 15980 is already merged. So we are here with another one, which is add Victor as an EIP editor. Yeah, Victor, if you would like to share more from where we were on the last time we visited this item and where we are now, and then we can maybe have opinion of other editors.
Yeah, I think last time we were discussing that having me adding me as an editor. I think kind of they nominated that, and then Greg is in support and Sam is in support too. And then, but I think the PR was merged on maturity. We didn't get to hear what Lifeline thing, and then so kind of realized that I haven't worked with Lifeline for long enough to kind of show um, what I what I do as if I were half of editor. So I think after two months, I think I work with Lifeline a little bit more, and then just want to get it out of what people think in the room.
Did my audio cut out? Can I still hear people?
No, I'm done speaking.
Okay.
Yeah, I just pasted it in, and I just put it out there on the table.
Yeah, okay. So I think the only thing that's changed on my front is, and I don't want this to come across as like offensive or anything, but I am somewhat concerned about philosophical alignment. And I do want to have a more focused discussion about that. And from like a editor perspective, I think you're great. You do really good work. You give good feedback. You attend the process more more than most editors do. So I think my only concern is making sure that we want to build the same thing. Um, I'm not exactly sure how to approach that kind of a discussion, and I'm not sure if we should do it without more editors. And if Matt isn't here, then I don't know if Matt is still here. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think that I agree with you, Sam. I think, yeah, you've been great with the like editing part of the process, but
amazing, like
we,
absolutely amazing.
yeah, I just think that editors should be more involved with like Ethereum as a whole and more philosophically aligned with Ethereum's values. And I'm not sure if like the alignment is there currently.
So to like turn this into an actual like actionable thing that we can talk about, what kind of alignment things are you most concerned about? And then Victor, what would you say? Like, how do you feel about those things?
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to hear what what you have in mind.
So the biggest example for me is the discussion about linking to non-free resources, and I think you and Greg are fairly aligned on it, which is interesting because Greg's already an editor. But for me, it's like it should be as cheap as possible to build Ethereum, and free and open access, and not linking to paywalled sources and everything. Um, and I think you are a little bit more relaxed on that kind of a thing, and that's actually what made me a little bit concerned about philosophical alignment. So I wanted to talk about things like licensing and all of that. So that's where I'm coming from. I don't know if Matt's feeling the same or not.
Yeah, I feel similarly. And for me, I also feel like the ERC that you authored a few months ago about creating a standard for applications to understand sanction lists, that to me, I find like concerning coming from somebody who is like wanting to be an editor, because I feel like this is like very much against the values of Ethereum overall. And yeah, that's another piece of concern for me.
Happy to address them both. Thank you for being very frank, Sam, and thank you, my client. So let me first address where I come from, and then what I think, what I think and my philosophy is, and then you can assess whether that is what you're looking for. So I come from contributing to Wikipedia, and then so I have a very deep passion about being open. And I do have a few essays about open contributor community, and then being open in a sense that it's in a sense that I felt that we need to allow people to contribute as easy as possible. So, and that's to begin with. And some of our policies align with that. Some of our policy didn't, like I personally felt didn't align with that, because sometimes when we impose requirement, for example, like Sam, when we debate about external links or whether the link needs to be free, I felt like that you have a strong sense of being requiring the source to be freely accessible, which I totally agree. I kind of hold the philosophical approach that we take these kind of things gradually. Like we allow people, we instead of having a hard wall of, hey, if you're not free, you're not entering. Like we are going to build an isolated island to avoid us to interact with any people who are not strictly the same views with us, which is more of a like I think it's more of the GNU or like GPL type of philosophy. I'm more on the MIT license, BSDA license side. Like, let me be free. Like, if you're a good guy, I want you to be able to use us. I want you to be able to contribute us. But if you happen to be a bad guy, like I'm kind of okay to being abused a little bit. Like, so long as you don't get into us, that's my type of thing. So, but we will. I'm hoping to build a gradient of incentives so that people will do the good things. Like that's why when I talk to you, hey, how about we do? If you have a free list, if you have a freer version, cheaper version, you should link to the cheaper version. So we build this gradient of incentive. So that's the type of thing. And then the other thing of like my end, when I address the jurisdiction and that's not what I meant to sanction or to help sanction. I want this to be clear that that's not the purpose. The purpose is avoiding or massively avoiding people trying to do sanction on the core level. Like you will see application layer the form of sanction. I, anytime and anyhow. And then my feel is that if we build a safer net so that at least people who are concerned of their jurisdiction can still use Ethereum, then there will be less pressure on kind of asking the core to change or to be able to sanction transaction. So what my view here is that I take a two-layer approach. On the core, we should be very strong about non-sanction. We should be resistant of sanction. We should even build a strong algorithm to add incentive to against sanction, censorship. But on the application layer, we should realize that there's companies, there's DAOs that want to have their own jurisdictions. Some of the DAO, or there might be countries that might. So that's kind of my philosophical views. But let me take one step back. And I think the core to my belief is even more important than these two. I think it's considered more of a details. If I may say, my core belief is community should be open to contributors, but it's not freely open. The entry barriers should be based on contributions. Um, just like Apache community has this principle that everyone can contribute, but authority comes from it. But authority and trust are earned, not for granted. It's earned by contributions. So that's what I believe. One, open contributor community. And the second view, philosophically, is that I believe in consensus, strongly in human consensus, and that's why I kind of create the voting standard and like at least I'm trying to like advocate for voting standard on chain governance. And if you see a lot of my EIP authorship is all about kind of how you help governance so that people can do it decentralizedly. But my view is that people should be able to come into consensus and at least you should there's two ways to view the society. It's either or majorly two ways. It's Catholics and it's Bazaar. Like Cassius Bazaar, these essays talk about that. I believe that if I'm more comfortable in the Bazaar, and then in that sense, we should be able to come to consensus. And that's why I was surprised in the hike when I debate with Panda Pip. Like you probably see my debate. Like I fight Panda Pip in the discussion about external links or like quite strongly about I want people to be able to link because I come from a Wikipedia sense. I want to build a connected world, not isolated world of knowledge. And then I was surprised by Pip when he nominated me as editor, even though I strongly disagree with him on how we should deal with links. And that's why I felt I kind of being welcomed in the EIP process because even though some of the ideas we might disagree, um, I still feel that this group welcomes diversity of ideas, diversity of views, so long as the core value, as you might be concerned, like so long as the core value we agree upon. And then for core value, I believe for myself is that we should be open to contributors and we should be able to value consensus. Like what I would not do is I would not try to kind of when editors or when someone I work with creates a policy, I will not unilaterally act different from the policy. I will try to interpret the policy as is as much as I can. I'll fight in a debate when I disagree with the policy, but in actions, I will follow the policy that even if I disagree with, which I hope that if you work with me, you will notice that I'm enforcing when I notice that the editor group agree that there's no link to policy. That's where I come from. I would disagree. I will hold my view, but once the discussion is done, conclusion is up, I will follow what the government body that I'm participating with about the decisions. That's the two core values I have. And I'm just pausing here to hear what you think.
So I think you touched on um, the topic that I'm most concerned about, and that is while I do think anybody should be able to contribute to the EIP's repository, I don't think that that is the like core purpose of it, right? Like we're a little bit different from other standards organizations and from other like communities because the people who write EIPs are often not the people who are like, especially for core EIPs, are not the people who are going to be consuming them. So like, I think we need to focus on like resiliency and accessibility and there's like those things come before the openness to contributions for me, and I would rather turn away EIPs or proposals that don't meet our bar for quality than have like EIPs that don't meet those bars. So like I really don't like having any links at all in EIPs. I think that it's
Okay.
going to like subvert the like um kind of my core idea of EIPs being a silo of information that isn't interconnected to anything else. And I think that, you know, if you want to bring this idea of interconnected knowledge and linking everything, I think that's probably the biggest philosophical difference is that I want the EIP's repository to stand alone, not be linked to anything, and only with that be able to recreate Ethereum. And I think that's a very different goal from what you want to have with the EIP's repository.
Sam, I think I hear you and I respect what you say. And then if that is what our group wants, of course, I'll follow that. Yeah, I do see that in some cases people were refrained from being able to link to consensus stack, which we address, I know. But I kind of want to reduce the friction, like at at the flexible, like at the level that we allowed. But yeah, I agree with you. If what this group wants or what the Ethereums in general wants is for this EIP repository to to be able to review itself, people be able to review Ethereum itself. I can understand, and then that I wouldn't contest that, and that doesn't context with the core value that I have is for open contributors, because if you look at from the other perspective, it's allowing people who might not have internet access or might not be able to access the paywall to be able to contribute. So I would say the link is more kind of detail, not core philosophy. I don't think it contrasts. Yeah, I can adjust understanding, have to understanding this.
Yeah, I mean, so even if your personal beliefs don't exactly line up, if you're willing to operate, like if you're willing to approach the EIP process with the idea that like the goal of the EIP process is to create a body of standards that like will survive like an apocalypse, then I think, you know, we can probably work together, and I think you'd like I'd support your editorship, whatever the right term is. Um,
Contributorship, I think.
well, like you know, like you becoming an editor,
Yeah.
like I think, you know, your personal beliefs aside, if you're willing to operate on the EIP's repository with like the shared goal of creating a resilient, available, like durable platform first, and then your personal beliefs second, I think, you know, I'd be totally fine with you being an editor.
Thank you. And actually, that's my core belief. My core belief, just like you said, is that when you operate in a collaborating environment, and then if you are acting as a rule enforcer, you should enforce the rule made by people. You should follow the value made by people together. Like that's the core of the core for me. And then even though you personally disagree with it, and then I wonder if I make it clear that that's exactly what I believe.
No, I think you made it clear. So I hate to do this to you, but I don't think that we can make a decision today. I don't think we have enough. Like we need at least Greg or Panda or somebody else to chime in. So maybe we open a thread on Discord or something, just to gather everybody else's opinion. It would be nice to have a third person that attends these meetings regularly. So, um,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, we need to resolve that. Like, uh, the point of moving the meeting was for Panda to come, and I think, yeah, we need to figure out a time for Panda to come.
yeah, and I mean, like, we were talking about having like a special meeting for Panda, and I tried to reach out and coordinate a date, and that has gone nowhere. So, yeah, we have to figure that out. But yeah, I guess
Also,
let's.
I just want to say that I think maybe with Panda being added as an editor like relatively quickly, like maybe we set a bit of a precedent of editors being added fast. And historically, that's like not really the case. Like we've had people, I think it was, for me, it was around a year. Micah was kind of doing stuff for like multiple years before he became an editor. I don't think that, this has to be something that happens like quickly. I think that editors are people who are like just deeply involved with the space anyways, and are good like guardians of the process because they like go through the process and they do the process and they understand it. And so it feels like, a little contrived. It's just like add people as editors just to add editors and not add people who are, really living through the process for like a long period of time.
If anybody's the precedent for being added quickly, it was me.
Yeah, but I mean, you've also gone through the EIP process for a long time.
Oh
To
yeah,
be fair,
yeah.
like
No, I think I added
so,
myself in like a week. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, let's. I think you've done a good job of making me feel more comfortable with it, Victor. Let's try to get everybody involved and have more of a discussion about it, and hopefully we can come to a consensus soon.
Of course, of course. Yeah, thanks very much. Just one last thing. I just want to have a chance to kind of discuss with my client about um, the the kind of did I address you? Did I address the concern, or like do you want to discuss a little bit more about what the EIP about the jurisdiction and sovereignty part of question?
I mean, I don't want to
I feel
discuss
that
it more in
you
this call. I think we should like move on. But I think from what I heard, I just generally still, don't feel like you're very aligned with things. I think that on-chain voting is not aligned. I think on-chain voting doesn't work very well in general, and it's not like a good thing to be focusing on. I think that trying to build this sanctions list to stop the core protocol from being sanctioned is the wrong approach. I think that there are other approaches to avoid, to create a platform that's censorship resistant and align people who are aligned and like understand this or who are involved with the processes are working on those things. And so I think that you're outside the loop in that case.
So I can see there is a number assigned to it. I guess it's a pull request number 5703. Probably we can try to add more thoughts from other editors, what they think at this point of time, or do we need to have any other discussion thread? Okay. I think we do have a place, this pull request number, we can have it over there. But if we feel strongly to have another discussion thread in general opinion, probably we can start with Fellowship of Ethereum Magician. Hoping this is a good point to maybe move on to the next item in the sense of time. Just wanted to make sure, Victor, are you comfortable with the discussion we had today? And yeah.
yeah, of course. Thank you for having a ability to talk about it and share your feedback. Look forward to have more discussions either on Discord or on some other calls.
Very well. Thank you, everyone. So the next sub-item here mentioned is EIP number allocation. We are very well aware that EIP number allocation is on EIP editors. They can allocate numbers. We saw some cases of squatting numbers and trying to snip a number, which is not the right thing to do, and the process there was not right. So I totally understand punishing number grabbing ideas or opportunities and allocating them a different number. But I was wondering, like in general, do we need to just remove the number, because I have came across a case. Actually, I came across more than one, but I could find only one. And the other one is last number is 5555. So it was just a good issue number. And it was mentioned that, okay, this is a good issue number, so we are just taking it off the list. However, there was another PR which was 6,000, and it seemed that author tried to trick, so he was allocated a different EIP number. I am generally curious to understand, like, if someone is getting any number by the right process, should or should not be there any case, like we should be, EIP editor should be allocating a new number, or is this a good idea to maybe remove the better numbers from the list?
I think the best solution is to build the bot we keep talking about. Yeah.
I get that. I wanted to quickly touch on that idea as well. Like this EIP number bot, I may have missed this thing, but do we have a process in place? I just wanted to get to know that so we can start sharing it with people we have, and if anyone is interested. Right now, we are just saying that we want a EIP number bot, but what do we want to have in that, and what is the process? Do we have any thoughts around it?
Sorry, I just realized this K06A guy posted like 8 PRs to try and get 6,000.
That's right. And that's why he was like not allocated that number. This is the right thing to do. But there are other cases in which someone is getting the good number for like genuine process, and still it was not allocated to that person. So yeah. Oh, well, I would be.
Has it been?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Has it been discussed, like just auctioning the numbers off or something? Like having
Yeah,
some sort of.
Micah was an advocate for that.
I mean, you could just have like an ENS registry where people can just like buy it and then prove they own it, and that could be how the bot like assigns a number. One idea, and then the funding can just go to like grants or funding people's time for they spend on editing. It just, if people want it, like why not let them have it, but just have a better, like a more fair way of allocating it.
I think this is going to open up a lot of different things, and I would rather avoid it. I would rather create an external counter for EIP numbers and just assign them individually.
I mean, why not just make them random then? Like have the bot assign random, like alphanumeric identifiers.
There's some
Because it
value
just
in
seems
having-
really stupid that we're having so many problems in debating numbers. Like there's so many standard bodies that just assign numbers, and this isn't a problem. But for some reason, we're like wanting to game this system and create a bunch of mechanism around it.
Maybe this is something that I would like to bring it up in the next meeting as well, to collect more thoughts around like what is the general process of EIP number bot that we are considering. And yeah.
Oh, I think the only
I feel like we can
implementation,
just
the only implementation we're considering for the IP number bot is in the commit where it's merged. That's when the number is assigned. Like the first draft is merged, that's where the number is assigned, and it's assigned to the highest value +1 of an EIP that exists in the repository.
I mean, I feel like we should just start doing this right now, but use, until we get the bots, just use a HackMD or a spreadsheet or something.
How could you do that with a bot? Like, are you gonna like merge EIPX and then have the bot commit to master or main immediately after?
No, so the bot would create the merge commit and assign the EIP number in the merge commit.
Bots are cool. I think we can set this up in 5 minutes with a HackMD, and just before
Yeah.
an editor assigns a number, just do that. Like, I think that's a good starting place.
The-
We're
the-
wasting so many numbers by
the-
assigning by PR. Crazy.
The only problem with that approach is you don't know what the number is going to be until you merge it, right? And you
Why?
can't. What do you mean?
Well, I don't think it has to be assigned at merge. I think it can be assigned when an editor reviews it, and they'll just go look at that document and
Oh,
then
I
give it
see.
a number.
And then every time
If it never gets
somebody-
merged, this is not like that big a deal. It's way better than this world where we have where a person can just like bump the numbers,
yeah.
you know? So we don't
Well,
have the
people
property that
still-
every number. Go ahead, Moody.
Won't people still try to game whatever process you have in HackMD? Like,
It'll be less gameable than what we have now, though, right? Because other people won't be able to see the HackMD where they can see the GitHub number, and yeah.
yeah. I mean, you could like, why not just make it random? Do they have to be sequential?
No, it's just a nice property to keep them sequential, but we could make them random.
I would rather keep them sequential. Like, I think it gives nice temporal property of things to, to a degree.
You can know roughly how old the EIP is based on the number. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't give that much information, but it just feels like we go random, then yeah, we're like in a pretty adversarial mindset about the process, which I think is not the right way to approach it.
All right. So yeah, I think we
So
can.
can we
have
just
some-
start doing this?
the HackMD process, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no objections.
All right, I'll post on Discord. I can't imagine that Panda Pip is going to be against it, and I don't think Greg cares.
All right. So yeah. Anyway, allocation is depending upon EIP editors. So I think whatever process they agree should be fine. Maybe we can have a small discussion on Discord. All right. I think that's all the time we had. I just quickly want to mention one other thing. The EIPSinsight.com website. Actually, it is EIPSinsight.com website is active right now. It shows the latest month information. I'm going to quickly share here the link. Right now, it is showing the list of proposals in draft, final review, last call, and stagnant total number of proposals. And if we click into these proposals, we will get to know the name and description plus the pull request number. It is basically an automation of the HackMD file that I was sharing earlier every month. But this seems to be more automated process, and I think it is more reliable than the HackMD, because HackMD, I don't do it every day, but this is done by bot. So hopefully this will help. I would be curious to hear both thoughts, not in this call, obviously, people, if they would like to see some other stats related to EIP, we can probably add that. So yeah, do let us know if there are any other feature that you would like to be added. Sam already shared a few, and we have listed it here. Hopefully we can start looking into give me a minute. So EIPS Insight, yeah, that is the right HackMD. So here we have added 4 new properties to be added to this website. If there are any thoughts on this or any new thing that can be added to make it better, the website, please.
What do you
feel free
want
to share
feedback?
it. Oh no, I'm just saying on the present EIPS Insight website, and if anything else can be added on that. I have added whatever.
I'm just asking, where do you want feedback?
Right now we can collect it on DM, but definitely I
Okay.
will start a form, Google form, in which people can add their feedback. And I think this website contains that thing. Contact us there, people can message.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I should have thought of the form earlier, but contact us, can share the information with the team.
If you just have like a GitHub issue or something, that would also work.
We can do that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
whatever works for you guys. Like, yeah, it looks great. I'm really excited about it.
Thank you. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope to share the recording very soon. See you all in 2 weeks. Have a good one, everyone.